Lisa Walker is a woman with impeccable taste and business acumen, living in a penthouse with panoramic views of Manhattan. Her apartment is a reflection of her personality: stylish, modern, and empty. She is successful at work, running her own small but thriving marketing company. She is organized, disciplined, and always in control. But there is one big void in her life: the absence of close people. She is used to coping with everything alone, but deep down she dreams of love and warmth. After another busy day at work, Lisa returns home, tired and exhausted. She takes off her strict business suit, puts on a soft cashmere sweater, and pours herself a glass of wine. She walks to the window and looks out at the twinkling lights of the night city. The beauty of New York has always soothed her, but tonight she feels especially lonely. Suddenly the phone rings. It's the secretary from the office announcing the death of her adoptive father, Stanley. Lisa freezes. She doesn't experience intense grief, but she feels the weight of loss. Stanley was the only one who had ever replaced her parents in any way, although their relationship had always been cool and formal. He never showed much love for her, but took care of her, provided her with everything she needed, and brought her up in strictness. The news of Stanley's death makes Lisa reflect on her life. She realizes that she has no real family, no one who would love and support her. She tries to find solace in her work, but even that doesn't help. She feels lost and alone. The day after Stanley's funeral, Lisa returns to her empty apartment. She feels devastated and vulnerable. She looks at her fish in the aquarium and notices that they are dead. This small incident becomes a symbol for her of her own life of loneliness and colorlessness. She can't stand it and starts crying, letting out all the pain and longing that has been building up in her for years. A few days later, a courier calls at the door of Lisa's apartment with a huge bouquet of roses. The flowers are so beautiful that Lisa cannot take her eyes off them. They exude a delicate fragrance and seem like a symbol of hope and beauty in her bleak world. There is a card attached to the bouquet, but there is no sender's name on it. Lisa is touched by this gesture of attention and begins to wonder who could have sent them. She goes over all her acquaintances and co-workers in her head, but can't imagine anyone as the mysterious admirer. She decides it's some kind of prank or mistake, but is still happy about the flowers. The next day the roses appear again, this time even bigger and even more beautiful. Lisa begins to experience mixed feelings of joy at the attention and embarrassment at the anonymity of the sender. She decides to find out by all means who is behind these romantic gestures. She begins her investigation. She asks her co-workers and friends, but no one knows anything. She even contacts a flower delivery service, but they refuse to reveal information about the customer. One day, passing by a small flower store near her office, Lisa notices a handsome and shy young man lovingly tending the flowers. She recognizes him as Louis Farrell, the owner of this store. Something in his gaze, in his movements, makes her assume that he is the one who was her mysterious admirer. Lisa decides to test her hunch. She begins to stop by the flower store more often to talk to Louis. She asks him about flowers, about his life, about his dreams. She notices that Louis is embarrassed in her presence and tries to avoid direct eye contact. One day she sees Louis delivering a bouquet of roses to her office. She becomes convinced that he is the one who is her mysterious admirer. Lisa decides to get to know Louis better and find out why he sends her flowers. She walks into his flower store and introduces herself. Louis is very surprised and embarrassed. Lisa thanks him for the flowers and admits that she was touched by his attention. Louis, stammering and blushing, admits that he has long admired Lisa from afar and wanted to express his feelings in some way. A tender and touching friendship develops between Lisa and Louis. They begin to spend time together, walking around the city, visiting museums, and just talking about everything in the world. Lisa learns a lot about Louis, about his love of nature, his talent as an artist, and his complicated life. Louis, in turn, sees in Lisa not only a successful business lady, but also a vulnerable and lonely woman in need of love and support. Lisa begins to feel herself falling in love with Louis. His simplicity, sincerity, and kindness win her heart. But she is afraid to open up to him and confess her feelings. She is used to a certain way of life, to independence and control over the situation. It is difficult for her to trust someone and let him into her world. Louis, despite his shyness, shows patience and perseverance. He continues to give Lisa flowers, arrange romantic surprises, and just be there for her when she needs him. He shows her what true love is: selfless, sincere, and unconditional. Over time, Lisa begins to change. She becomes more open and trusting, learns to appreciate the simple joys of life, and stops being afraid of vulnerability. She realizes that Louis is the man she needs, the one who can give her true happiness. One day during a romantic walk in Central Park, Louis confesses his love to Lisa. No longer doubting her feelings, Lisa reciprocates. They kiss, and this kiss becomes a symbol of their love. Tender, sincere, and long-awaited, Lisa and Louis begin to build a life together. They move into a new house, get a dog, and plan for the future. Lisa leaves her job and begins helping Louis in his flower store. She finds fulfillment in a simple and quiet life surrounded by love and care. However, past does not let Lisa go. One day she receives a letter from her birth parents who want to meet her. Lisa has mixed feelings of curiosity, anger, and fear. She does not know what to do and seeks advice from Louis. Louis supports Lisa and convinces her to meet with her parents. He says it will help her close old wounds and move on. Lisa agrees, but fears that meeting her parents will ruin her relationship with Louis. The meeting with her parents proves to be difficult and emotional. Lisa learns that they abandoned her because they were too young and not ready for parenthood. They apologize to her and want to repair their relationship. Lisa is relieved to hear their explanation, but she still has a hard time forgiving them. She says she needs time to think things through. Her parents understand her and agree to wait. After meeting with her parents, Lisa returns to Louis. She tells him everything that has happened and confesses that she is afraid of losing him. Louis reassures her and tells her that he loves her no matter what. He hugs her tightly, and Lisa feels that she has finally found her place in this world. Lisa realizes that she has found her true happiness with Louis. She is no longer afraid of the past and is ready to build a future with him. She forgives her parents and begins to build a relationship with them. She realizes that Louis is her family, her support, and her love. Lisa and Louis get married. Their wedding takes place in a beautiful flower garden surrounded by friends and family. Lisa looks dazzling in her white dress and Louis looks happy and proud. During the wedding ceremony, Lisa gives a touching speech in which she thanks Louis for changing her life and showing her what true love is. She says that she used to be lonely and lost, but now she feels happy and full of life. Louis, in turn, confesses his love for Lisa and promises to be her faithful husband and friend for life. He says that she is his muse, his inspiration, and his greatest treasure. Lisa and Louis are happy together, and their love becomes a symbol of hope and healing. Lisa has found her true family, not by blood but by spirit. She has realized that love can find her where she least expects it, and that sometimes you just have to let yourself be vulnerable to find true happiness. Her heart, once full of pain and loneliness, is now filled with love and gratitude. She is no longer alone. She has Louis, her husband, her best friend, her soulmate. And the roses that once started their story continue to bloom, reminding them of how they found each other and fell in love. They continue to live happily ever after, surrounded by flowers and love, and their story becomes a legend that is passed down from generation to generation.